Hello everyone and welcome to the Historia Scale. The intent of these videos is to explain why each character has achieved the score that they've been assigned. It is not intended to be a discussion about artifact builds, but rather an exploration of the character's raw potential based on their stats and capabilities, so that when you get your hands on these characters, you'll have a better idea if they will suit your team comp, or, better yet, if they're a character you want to build your team around. Also, the entire scale is not taking into account the existence of constellations, as it is very possible that you could play Genshin Impact for extended periods of time with little or no constellations. The exception to the rule here is the Travelers, as they have the only constellations which are guaranteed through the storyline, making theirs realistic for comparison. Now, without further delay, this scale is covering Noelle, so let's dive in. Beginning with attack, Noelle has some of the lowest base attack stats on the roster, at 39, giving her 2 points. Noelle's normal attacks are strong overall, but suffer from being slow between strikes, dealing only 78 damage per second in my tests, providing Noelle with only 2 points here. Next is charge damage, which is where Noelle's kit begins to shine. Her spin is fast and effective, picking up 4 points for its 550 damage per strike on each target hit. Next, onto Noelle's main skill, Breastplate. This skill is extremely good at providing supportive shields and healing, but falls flat in damage production at 322, earning 2 points. Last in attack is Sweeping Time, Noelle's Elemental Burst. Here, Noelle really picks up, dealing on average 5,958 damage over the duration of the ability, handily earning Noelle 6 points. Tallied up, these give Noelle a modest 16 out of 30 points for attack. Next we move on to durability. Noelle's kit has a lot of focus on defense, and as such, she does well here, picking up the max score of 7 in defense and an additional 5 points in HP. Added up, these give Noelle a respectable 12 out of 14 in durability. Now for utility. Many Geo characters shine in utility, and Noelle will be no different here. She earns 0 points for travel add-ons and weak point strikes, but picks up 1 point in puzzles, as there exist several puzzles in Liyue which cannot be solved by Geo characters such as Ningguang and the Geo Traveler, requiring Noelle's Elemental Burst to strike through walls or swipe wide areas for time-based Geo statue activation puzzles. Usually I would not award a point here, as any Geo character in theory should be able to do this, but as Noelle is the only known solution to 1 or 2 of these that I've seen, I felt this one was well deserved. For Environmental Breaker, Noelle earns 2 points for her ability to easily dispatch rock materials and walls. For Opportunity, Noelle earns 1 point, as she can use several of her abilities to force enemies from cliffs for easy falling damage when it is applicable. Noelle's passive, Maid's Knighthood, picks up 2 points for its chance to produce double products when cooking defensive foods. Now onto the Self-Reliance subcategory. Noelle can produce knockdowns with her normals, her charged attack, and her elemental burst, giving her 3 points here. While most sword users would score 0 points here, Noelle, while under the effects of Sweeping Time, has significantly longer attack range, awarding her with 1 point in this metric. Noelle is among Genshin Impact's healing-focused characters, earning 2 points here for the healing provided by the Breastplate skill. Noelle next picks up 2 points, as her normal and charged abilities allow you to properly take on enemies of like elemental types. Finally, Noelle as a Geo has the ability to produce a multitude of shields, even in solo situations, and Breastplate itself absorbs a good amount of damage, awarding the max of 4 points here. Next, onto Synergy. As Noelle cannot produce crowd control via the crystallized reaction, and has no known effects on other characters' abilities, she earns 0 points in both of these areas. For skill share, however, she does pick up 1 point, as the effects of Breastplate persist when swapping to other characters. In healing for party, Noelle earns 2 more points, as a fairly effective producer of healing across the party. Lastly, for buffs and debuffs, Noelle maxes out here, gaining 4 points for being able to produce up to 3 chosen shields based on your party selection, in conjunction with her passive, which creates even more shields on members of the party below 30% health, in addition to the aforementioned benefits of the shield the Breastplate skill provides. All of these together awards Noelle a very strong score of 25 out of 30 in utility. Next on to reactions. Noelle's activation for Crystallize hinges on Breastplate and Sweeping Time, and as such earns only 2 out of the 3 points here. Next, for Shield Generator cooldown, Noelle's Breastplate skill has a fairly long cooldown of 24 seconds, picking up only 3 out of 6 points. For Reaction Area of Effect, Noelle's normal and charge attacks can be fashioned to produce Crystallize under the influence of Sweeping Time. The attacks themselves covering 180 degrees and 360 degrees, earning 2 and 4 points respectively. For Breastplate, the skill fires off in 360 degrees, but does so in a very tight area around the character, so it loses 1 point, earning a 4. Lastly, Noelle's Elemental Burst ability itself upon activation strikes ahead in 180 degrees, gaining 3 points. All points in the reactions category tally up to give Noelle a score of 18 out of a possible 26. For Noelle, we have one additional category, healing, containing 2 more metrics. If the character can heal from using a main skill, it will be evaluated under Heal 1. And if a character can heal using their Elemental Burst, it will be evaluated under Heal 2. Some healing characters have both, such as Barbara, Jean, and Chi-Chi. Noelle's is active when using the Breastplate skill, as I've mentioned. It heals scaled on her defense stat, providing a heal at Breastplate's base level on 21.3% of her defense, plus 103. In testing under ideal conditions, using her charged ability, I found that Noelle could recover up to 295 HP per second per target struck, giving Noelle a total of 6 points out of 15 in the healing category. As the healing metric would add on top of the normal scale out of 100, it would quickly render the scale unfair for all non-healing characters. So an adjustment must be made to apply an appropriate final score. To do this, whenever a character is fitted into the healer role, by use of this metric, whatever their lowest main category is, be it attack, durability, which in itself must be multiplied by 2.1 first to adjust for its own reduced weight, utility, or reactions, will then be divided by 2 before calculating the character's final score. I've chosen to do this because it becomes apparent on most characters which category was intentionally left with less depth or impact by the game's developers as a balancing factor for the character's healing skills. And as such, dividing this number will have the fairest impact on the character's overall composite score, as it better reflects the character's actual value in the party when built to utilize their healing abilities to the fullest. With that said, Noelle's lowest primary metric is attack. Originally a score of 16, adjusted, is now 8. All metrics tallied up gives Noelle a final composite score of 69 points. Noelle is a robust character who can add a lot of depth to your party. She's truly a jack of all trades, providing modest damage while enhancing the durability of your party as a whole with shields and elemental resistances. In the rare opportunities you do take damage while utilizing Noelle, she provides solid healing to recover your party members' health to help get them back in the fight. It's worth noting that Noelle's heal is a high-risk, high-reward scenario, as it only fires off on 50% of successful hits. This means the more targets you can hit while spinning, the more potential healing she can produce. If at all feasible, when healing is badly needed, you should do your best to round up as many enemies as close to one another as possible before letting your sword fly to achieve maximum effectiveness. With that, I've reached all I have to discuss in this installment of the Historia Scale. I hope you found it to be useful. If you've noticed something that you think I've left out, and I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you, and even issue a correction to the scale if necessary. Finally, if you did find this video useful, please think about leaving a like. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you're notified when my next video goes live. Thanks for watching Teyvat Historia. May the 7 guide you, travelers.